Hello, hello. Welcome back to Literally Heinous. We have a very special guest on today, my bestie, my fellow podcaster, Maeve Conway of Gals Getting Rich.
Woo! Hey guys, thank you for having me, Lily. I'm so honored and excited. I always talk about personal finance stuff, so it's really refreshing to get like some like influencer gossip like under my belt.
Yeah. So Maeve is total genius in personal finance and just in general. Maeve is very inquisitive, sorry. Okay, wait. I didn't ask if we could talk about this, but can you briefly tell the Joe Burrow story?
Oh, which one?
Just about how you found his like personal finance person.
Oh my God, yeah. So I wanted to do an episode about wealth managers and specifically how they invest NFL money. And I'm from Cincinnati. So my victim had to be Joe Burrow because he got like a huge sign-on package, whatever. And I made it my full-time job to find out who his wealth manager is. And I went and I found his house and I found the tax records, found that his house was bought with a trust, and the trust had some random guy's name in it. Looked him up, he's a wealth manager. And then I look up his LinkedIn, and he posts only stuff about Joe Burrow. And I find him, and I make an appointment with him. And I literally had a call with him to ask him. I kind of like post myself as like an NFL person. So yeah, I kind of have 22.5 million coming my way, and I need you to invest it for me. And I don't know. So anyway, I've done my due diligence to do investigating for all
Yeah.
influencers from NFL to Instagram.
Maeve is like the kind of friend that will go on like tax records, voting records. Like you just have this like very investigative personality. And you also understand the money aspect and you just love to talk shit, which makes talking about influencers one of our favorite topics.
Oh my God, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, huge. Like this episode couldn't have come at a better time because we're just coming off from Coachella and Sofia Richie's wedding. But first I just want to like give an overview and just ask you like who are your favorite influencers? And also I was thinking about this the other day, but like do you remember like the first influencer that you followed? Like
Hmm.
modern day influencer.
Okay. So I have been following influencers since they were on YouTube. I feel like that's where they all kind of originated
Yeah.
from. And then they expanded to Instagram. I started following influencers when I was in seventh grade. I'd watch them on YouTube. And the first one I was so attached to was Ellen Blair Fowler. They're two sisters from Tennessee. They have since like kind of gone off. They don't really do much anymore. But that was like my first one. And I was like in love with them. I was infatuated with them. I would copy everything they did.
Yeah.
Um,
I am not a YouTube OG. Like I really never
mm,
have been. Like I've always been like YouTube as kind of a need basis. Like
yeah.
just if I need a tutorial or if I need something. And then recently like I don't know, I've kind of been trying to like get back into it, but it's just kind of useless. For
Hmm.
I was really into Tumblr though, and I remember the first like big person that I followed was like Savannah Montano of Savannah and
Yes.
Jared, May 13th.
Yes. Oh
Like
my
I
God.
remember that, and then like Alexis Ren. Like I
Yes.
remember that was kind of like early 2010s.
Yeah.
And then what about like your first like Instagram followers, like or Instagram influencer, like as we know them today?
So one that is still existing today that I love. Well, I don't love her as much anymore, but Julia Havens. I don't know if you follow
I don't
her.
know her.
She's in Nashville and she's like friends with Shannon Ford. You know,
Oh yeah, okay.
probably Shannon Ford
Probably
and
Shannon
Kenzie
Ford.
Elizabeth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really big into her senior year, but I also was watching Alicia Marie and Remy on YouTube
Yeah. Yeah.
back in like high school. And I
They're
still kind of follow
OGs.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
I was like first getting into podcasts, I'm super late to like the podcasting game. I didn't start listening until like 2021. Pretty basic with Alicia Marie and Remy. I don't know her last name, but
Remy Ashton. Is that
I
her name?
listened to them a lot. But I found them to be kind of, and I liked them, but then I discovered other podcasts and like
Hmm.
Alicia and Remy, they're like too nice. Like I need people that like talk a little more shit.
Yeah. No, I feel like they're kind of like the gateway drug of influencers. Like
So
they get
true.
you in the door, but
Yeah.
then they're not your going to be there forever.
They're kind of lame.
Hmm.
Sorry. Like,
But okay, I don't know if you saw Lana Del Rey was at some like
yes.
premiere and she was fangirling over Alicia and Remy, and I'm like, oh my God. Like they're her celebrities.
Yeah. That's so interesting because they are OGs. Like they have
Yeah.
been like around forever. I feel like the first like modern influencer or the first influencer I like kind of got attached to was like Hannah G from The Bachelor, Hannah
Mm,
Godwin.
yeah. Okay, I am attached to Cassie Randolph from The
Okay.
Bachelor.
Yeah.
She has a YouTube channel too, and it's phenomenal. She has a new
Really
boyfriend who does the soundtrack for her vlogs.
cute.
Phenomenal. It
I
like
also, yeah, I read that her
yes.
twin sister, Michelle, or maybe they're
Yes.
not twins, but they look the same. She is in like a movie coming up.
Yeah. It looks like Yellowstone. It kind of looks like
Yes. Okay.
cowgirlish.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's in like the 1923 prequel.
Yes.
And the guy, because I only like figured this out because like I guess the star in it is playing Atlas in the It Ends With Us movie adaptation.
Oh.
So then I was going
Ooh.
on a 1923 rabbit hole, and then I was like, wait, Michelle Randolph. I thought she was just like influencer vibes. She's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another OG I've always followed is Lauren Elizabeth and
Yeah.
Claudia Salewski. I
Oof.
followed them since I was in 7th grade.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
about Claudia Salewski until Phineas.
Oh my God.
And then she was like the YouTuber that I like tried to get into like during COVID kind of.
Hmm.
I just like am not like a YouTube girl, but that was a bad person to pick because now she never posts on YouTube.
I know. She quit. So she did a phenomenal job at her YouTube. She and Romy Stride, she's a Victoria's Secret model. They
Yeah.
won like Revolve has some like reward ceremony at the end of the year or award ceremony, and they both won like Vlogger of the Year, which is
Oh,
a really hard
wow.
award to get. And so it kind of just is a testament to who she is and her video production skills. Like she was able to
Yeah.
get that award, and then she started dating Phineas. Like it wasn't his fame that got her there. She was on her own really good. So,
Yeah. And that like gets overlooked a lot. Like, and even Alicia Marie and Remy were talking about this, how like they'll be like at a red carpet or something and like there's pops just like taking pictures of everyone. And then they'll be like, oh, it's just a YouTuber. And everyone like puts their cameras down, which like I get because like in the traditional like grand scheme of things, like there's actors, there's singers, there's models, and then like, oh, like a fucking YouTuber. But it is a
hmm
grind. Like it is such a grind, like posting on social media, like on anything. And YouTube is hard. And especially like, when you're starting all by yourself, like you have to invest in like equipment and editing and like
hmm
it's really fucking hard.
yeah, and it's kind of cringe in the beginning when you're posting videos and like you get, 20 views and you're
Yeah.
like, who am I talking to? So, yeah, no, it's a grind for sure.
Yeah, I don't blame Claudia at all for quitting YouTube. Like, and I have Claudia
No.
Salewski on my list of like celebrities that I would trade places with, like in a
Yeah.
heartbeat. Her life
Oh,
is
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So there's someone recently who I was like, I want her life. I think it's Maud Apatow
Oh,
from
of
Euphoria,
course. Yeah.
but maybe her sister, because I don't really want to
Iris.
work. Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to
Iris.
be Iris
Me
Apatow.
too. She's like a
Um,
little
yeah.
cooler too than Maud. Like Maud kind of
Yeah.
has like, and Maud is cool. She's just seems like, and I think it's a combination of like her character on Euphoria and that video of her reacting to One Direction,
Hmm.
iconic. But she
Yeah.
just seems like a little like nerdier and like kind of like millennial, which is like so cute.
Yeah.
But Iris, like she's best friends with Olivia Rodrigo. She's in that kind of like younger Gen Z like alt crowd.
Hmm.
That like, yeah,
Yeah. Her and Stassi Baby, I would probably switch lives.
obsessed.
I'd switch lives with them. Stassi
I
Baby's house, I'm obsessed. I
I'm
think she
like
lives
a
in
Sta-
Encino.
I'm a Stassi baby stan.
Me too. I love her. Her YouTube is also really good. I keep going back to YouTube, but
Yeah.
Stassi Baby is amazing.
Yeah. I love Stassi baby. I would trade places with Olivia Jade, scandal and all.
Oh my God. Yeah. Would you take a picture on the rowing machine?
Of course. When I go to the gym and I do the rowing machine, I call it Olivia Jade's. Like I'll tell
Oh,
Jack and I'll be like, okay, Jack, let's do like 3 reps of Olivia Jade's. And then one time he
oh
like
my God.
texted me and I was like, oh, what'd you do at the gym? He was like, just a couple Olivia Jade's.
Oh my God. An actual influencer. That's so funny. I remember I would watch her on YouTube, and one time she like showed her bedroom, and it was like insane. There were like steps
Yeah.
down into her bathroom, and that's when I was like, who the heck is this girl?
Yeah.
Iconic. She's actually iconic.
I wonder like how rich she actually is because so I know like her mom, obviously Lori Loughlin, like college admissions queen, like she did Full House and I guess she gets residuals from that and like some other
Hmm.
TV. And then I know her dad is like he has like a brand at Target. But
Yeah.
I guess that's pretty lucrative because like it's Target, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know
curious.
how they're still printing money with the way they're kind of just like chill. And they paid
Yeah.
500,000 for each girl to get into college, which I'm sure is just like chump change to them, but
Half a
I don't know.
million. Okay. Yeah. Olivia
Oh wait,
Jade
not
is
half a
like
million. Oh, no, yeah, that's
half.
right. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. No, I like Olivia Jade. Just her vlogs are like her life just seems so glamorous. And she's just
Yeah,
like chill and laid back. She's not in your face. And like she's dating Jacob Elordi. Are they still
I know.
dating?
I don't know.
I don't know
She's like
either.
so like under the radar and
Yeah.
like oh
And
my
I
God.
also, so I have this like theory kind of, it's not like groundbreaking, but like whenever there's a scandal or like people are just talking like a lot, if you don't engage, the conversation will like naturally kill itself because
Hmm.
people will start being like, okay, we've had this conversation enough. Like it's not funny anymore. And like that's really what happened with Olivia Jade. Like, she of course like did address it, but like her comments like for the last 2 years have still been like rowing queen or like college admission privilege. And then I like go through her comments and I see people fighting with each other and other people being like, okay, this isn't funny anymore. Like it's not interesting. And I've seen it on
Yeah.
Reddit about like Ozempic because that's
Yeah.
all anybody's talking about. It's like
Oh my
Ozempic
God.
this, Ozempic that. And I've been seeing
Yeah.
people start to be like, can we please like stop this conversation? Like
Yeah.
they look skinny, get over it. Like this conversation's exhausting.
Yeah. Okay. So going off of that, last episode of yours, or 2 episodes ago, you're talking about the Haley Bieber and Selena Gomez drama.
Hmm.
I think when the core issues with that was Haley didn't do herself any favors to let it die off. Like if she had just not like fed into it,
Yeah.
probably would have killed itself. And I kind of notice now so if you know Danielle Bernstein, right now
Yeah.
it's theorized that her boyfriend broke up with her,
Yeah.
which is crazy because she was like trying to get that ring so badly. And she's not addressing it, and it's kind of just like dying off. Like people have lost interest and just moved on. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I think conversations will just naturally die and it works so much better for you to have other people do the grunt work of ending the
Hmm.
conversation because it makes
Hmm.
you look so much better.
Yeah.
Um, cool. Okay,
Ozempic is a good one.
oh my God, I
Just
know.
like,
I didn't even have it on the list to talk about. What are your
oh my
thoughts
God.
like on Ozempic?
I'm sure you know the Oshry sisters.
Of
That's
course.
all their comments are these days.
All the comments.
It's only
And
Ozempic, and
that's
they
where
have it
people
blocked.
are saying like, guys, like this is tired. Like stop.
Hmm. I kind of do wish they would address it. I think Claudia's done a better job in that she's done like what I eat in a day, and she actually has just like halved all of her portions.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like benefit of the doubt, like she probably isn't on Ozempic, but like
Yeah.
Margot is just like lights out. I'm
Hmm.
not even talking about this. So I think Claudia's mitigated the conversation a little bit better, but I don't think there's any
Yeah.
shame to the Ozempic game either. Putting it out there.
So Claudia hasn't like outright fully said I'm not on Ozempic, but she has like skirted around it or like talked about other influencers doing it. So it's not like she's acting like it doesn't exist. But also like some people are like predisposed like to diabetes or whatever. Like Remy Bader was on it because like it was prescribed to her.
Hmm.
So like it's not like no one is allowed on it. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't like lose sleep over people being on Ozempic really. I also just like I don't really care, I guess. I don't
No.
know, is that bad?
I don't care either. I think the reason people care and it like hurts their feelings is because influencers will just chalk it up to like, yeah, I've just been really good about my fitness lately.
Yeah.
And they won't kind of just like be outright like, kind of saying like I had help. Not that
Yeah.
Ozempic is help. If you needed
Yeah.
it, you needed it. But I think that's where people get so offended when they don't
Hmm.
just come out clean. And it's also
Yeah.
jealousy. Like if they can put
Yeah.
their hands on it, they're just jealous, and that's what makes them not like you.
So I think that like the whole scope of like influencers is people just have this like addiction or like obsession with like relatability and
Hmm.
like they and like authenticity and transparency. And I think that people
Hmm.
have this ownership over like their influencers and the people that they follow. It's like, okay, well, I gave you a career. I follow you. Like I give you views. Like I do all this
Hmm.
stuff for you. Like we own you and you owe us to like tell us like what you're doing.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. Because don't you ever see like when influencers buy a house, they always have to do the obligatory like, thank you so much. I wouldn't have gotten here without you
Yeah.
guys. Like, and it's just kind of like exhausting at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that you're thankful for me watching you, but like,
Yeah.
why are you doing this? Why did you take time out of your day? I don't know.
I think like influencing is really exhausting in a sense because you always like have to be on and like you owe
Hmm.
so much to the people that follow you. Like for traditional actors and celebrities like Zendaya, she like has the luxury of doing like her own work in private. Like she has a few
Hmm.
projects a year. Maybe she'll do a couple like red carpet events and some interviews, but
Hmm.
that's really it. Like for influencers, it's like, oh, well, like you're going to Coachella or like you're going to an event, like you need to post all this stuff, like you need to address this. Like people are saying
Hmm.
that you and your boyfriend broke up, you need to address it. You've lost
Hmm.
weight, you need to address it. Oh, you
Hmm.
bought a house, like you need to say that you're grateful, you know?
Hmm.
It's
Oh yeah.
tiring.
Yeah, and I feel like people feel like they're owed a behind the scenes because that's what the
Yeah.
influencers promise them. Like if Alex Earl goes on a red carpet, people expect her to do like a get ready with me for a red carpet event.
Yeah.
Versus like Zendaya probably just has a team who comes in and does her makeup and her hair and picks out her outfit. And she's not obligated to film that. She can just be off and like relax and chill. And she has
Yeah.
better work-life balance versus Alex. Not that Alex is bad, but like other influencers have like obligatory Instagram stories they have to post. Like, this is
Yeah.
my nail color. These are where my shoes are from. This is a price. Here's the Amazon link.
Oh my God, that's the other thing that drives me crazy is like, where's this top from? Stop
Oh my God.
gatekeeping. And I'm like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Like we're not owed everything.
Yeah. And do you ever have like something in your closet and you're like, I have no idea where I got this from? Like, I've had it for
Literally.
years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I always give them like benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe they've had that for years. What if it's not on sale anymore? It's just gonna frustrate people, you know?
Yeah. I think that's so like in like hair tutorial, makeup
Mm-hmm.
tutorial.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
fucking
And it's not
people
even
are out here
TikTok.
begging to be influenced. And like these people like oh my God, this one TikTok creator I follow, I can't even remember her name, but she's so funny. Like she's like people always talk shit about influencers, but y'all are out here like hair tutorial, where's the shirt from? Where is this from? Where's it like room tutorial, like house tour, whatever.
Yeah.
Like y'all are begging to be influenced. Begging.
Yeah. Yeah. And have you seen the TikToks where this guy said, like, every time the comments are turned off on TikTok, then I have to inform my own opinions, which is a really scary thing.
Literally.
And it's like we have a hive mind. Like, we're all
Yeah.
suffering from groupthink, and we
Hmm.
can't just be ourselves and, like, put together an outfit without having to look at what the influencers wore.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
come on. Like,
I know.
you,
And I've done that like I'm off TikTok. Like I've been off since like March.
wow.
And I know. It's been
TikTok
like
sober.
I know I'm TikTok sober, but like I do that too. Like now like Reddit is my thing. And like whenever this is so fucking bad, but whenever I discover a new influencer or like I hear about someone new, I immediately like search their name on Reddit. I'm like, okay, what are
Yeah.
other people saying about them? Like what am I
Hmm.
missing? Like what do I not know? Like what does everyone else think? Like what's their reputation? And I'm like, why can't I just like form my own opinion?
I know.
But also
I
it's like I
know.
need context, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So the first time I ever did this was with Julia Havens because she was driving me crazy. And I liked her a
Yeah.
lot, but her husband was like he's kind of like just nails on a chalkboard. He like does nothing for her channel. And all her comments were good, but she like deletes bad comments on her YouTube and her Instagram. And I was like, I can't be the only one. And I
Yeah.
found a Discord called Gossipgate that is a whole Discord with channels for every influencer, and you can gossip about them. It's not healthy, but I went on there and it validated my feelings. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not the only one. So I get it, but I'm also like, I try to just like not feed into the criticism and inform my own opinions.
Yeah, it's a good push and pull because it is nice to be validated and it's nice to
Mhm.
like I don't know, just like are other people having these thoughts, but also at the
Yeah.
same time like it will warp my opinions of people.
Yeah.
So like now that I'm off TikTok.
TikTok sober, just like losing
Wait,
her
what's
mind.
it called? Like I don't even know. Like, huh?
You're like one of those teachers who pretends they are not up with the trends, and they're like, "Oh, what
The
is these
tweeter.
cell phones you're like playing with these
Yeah.
days? Like, what
Yeah.
games do you have?" It's like
No.
you know, you have
Yeah.
kids.
The TikTok. The TikTok. Okay. But now that I'm off TikTok, the only Ken Urich content that I'm seeing is on Reddit. So now I'm
Oh,
being constantly fed like all the bad stuff about Ken. And now I have like her, this kind of view. And I'm like, damn, maybe like she is kind of annoying. But also, it's like
she's
so
funny.
much frequency bias where it's like if I
Mm-hmm.
keep seeing the bad stuff about her without seeing the original content that I liked, like now I only think about the bad stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't read any bad stuff about Kennedy Urich anymore. I used to because I was curious. But now, ever since like we went to Cabo together, I'm like, maybe Kennedy Urich is like really chill. And I've
Yeah.
liked her ever since. So
Yeah.
definitely is like a kind of a confirmation bias of like whatever you hear is what you believe. And
Yeah.
you don't have the whole set of information.
Yeah, and it's helpful. Yeah, so like our friend Soph is like kind of adjacently friends with her, which is like so cool. And like she's only said like really positive things about her. So that like confirmed everything that I liked. And I also just think that like what you see online is so different and it's really overwhelming for people to be so invested in your life. And like again, like you
Hmm.
owe everything. Like Ken's buying a house and now people are like, "Well, like tell us like how you bought a house and like how are you
Hmm.
paying for it? Like do you have a backyard for your dog?" Like all this crazy shit.
Oh
And
my
that's
God.
really tiring. Like, did you break up with your ex? Like, I cannot imagine, like, if I opened my phone and all of my comments were like asking me like really personal things. And then if you
Yeah.
don't answer, it's like, well, we gave you this platform. Like, you owe us an answer. Like, oh, you're gatekeeping. Like, oh, you're being secretive. It's really
Yeah.
tiring.
Oh yeah. And her dog is the cutest thing ever. Ma.
Okay, listen to this. So, are you aware of like what people are saying on Reddit about?
I think so. They're saying like she doesn't take her out to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Isn't that
So,
one?
I feel like okay, animals are like a really easy way to like snark on someone or to like give someone a lot of like shit because there's so many different ways to debate like how you take care of your animals, like do you have one litter box for three cats? Like that's fucked up. You don't take your dog out enough. Like that's fucked up. And all of these people
Hmm.
are like suddenly PETA ambassadors and like animal people. Okay, I know it's no secret I'm not like the biggest animal person in the world, but like animal people are like a different breed, no pun intended, but the way that they get so like worked up about pets.
Hmm.
And do you kind of get what I'm saying? That it's just like an
Yeah.
easy thing to like rail on someone for?
Yeah. It's like if you have a dog, people feel like you're not allowed to live in a condo or an apartment
Yeah.
or a townhome. They're like, where's your dog going to pee? It's like, what does all of New York City do? They go to a
Yeah.
park. Like, it's not that hard. And I feel like people are so quick to criticize, but your whole life doesn't have to revolve around this animal. You can make things work for your animal. Your animal can be comfortable in so many situations.
Yeah, and like the collar that she uses for the dog. Like, oh, that's a choking collar. Like that's fucked up. Like she got that
Yeah,
new cat, like the designer cat Gus, and they're like, adopt, don't shop.
I know. Yeah, but then,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's so like backwards thinking. It's like she's wanted a cat and she got one. Like, I don't see how people can take issue with every single thing.
It's
And actually,
everything.
I'm the number one cat sitter in Ohio. I've seen like probably 100 different litter boxes. Everyone takes care of their cat different, and it's fine. These cats are
Yeah,
happy.
like it is fine. Like and oh, she was doing something where like she was like holding a toy up and Ma was like jumping for the toy. And that like sent Reddit through a tizzy because they're like, that's so bad for Ma's hind legs. Like she's a bad pet owner.
Yeah. I love the name Ma.
So funny. Like it's such
I
a
am
good name.
obsessed. I
Ma.
know.
And how she's like, Ma is my mother. She gave birth to me.
I love that name. I wish I had
I know,
thought
I
of
do
it.
too. I know, I wish, yeah, I love it. And then like Gus. Also, like one thing about me is like I get adopt, don't shop when it comes to like dogs, but for some reason cats, I'm like, get a fun cat. Like who cares? It
Yeah.
just feels different. I don't know.
Yeah. And have you heard of the, what is it, the distribution network or whatever?
No.
Where it's like, you don't adopt a cat, cats just find you. It's like when a cat
Oh,
wanders in your backyard
yeah.
and they just kind of like make you, it's like how cats find you if you want one. You won't have to
Yeah.
go out seeking one.
So cute.
I don't know. I feel you.
Okay, so going back to like, so general like influencer things, like I personally think that like influencers can fall into like three different buckets or like be like a combination of a few. I think like relatability
Hmm.
is really big and like being aspirational and then entertainment. And I feel like people focus a lot on like relatability because that's like what they cling onto. It's like, well, she's not relatable. Like, I don't like her. But for me, I'm like, I don't really care that much. Like, why would I want to watch someone who has like a corporate 9 to 5 job and lives in like a medium sized Midwestern city?
Yeah. Me.
No, literally.
Yeah, no. It's like that's not what I'm here for. I find that I love watching people who live in like California or Florida or just like
Yeah.
warmer climates, especially when I'm cold in the winter. That's all I watch, and I realize I'm aspiring to move somewhere warmer. Like that's actually what it means to me.
Yeah.
Is I want to envision what my life would be like living in California, living in Florida, stuff like that. They
Yeah.
don't have to be exactly who I am.
Yeah, I think like the relatability component comes in with like, oh, like she's messy like us, like Alex Earl,
Hmm.
like, oh, she has a messy room, she's just like us, or like, oh, she
Hmm.
procrastinates studying, like she's just like us, or like she blacks out with her friends, like that's normal, or like Ken Urich, like mental health issues, like that's relatable, like that's funny.
Hmm.
Um, so I think like there's that. So I feel like that was kind of what made Alex Earl big in the first place. Like that's what made her come up was like the relatability, I guess, of just like being a college girl, living with 6 girls in your little apartment and going out on the
Hmm.
weekends. And then the bigger she got, the more people were like, I cannot relate to this girl. Like she they don't go to like SAE and like go to like a toga party and like
Yeah.
blackout. Like they go to live and like sit at like Drake's table.
Oh, yeah.
But that doesn't bother me. Like that is
No.
so much more interesting for me to see. And also because it makes me in a way feel better about myself. Like if she like Alex Earl, she did go to like Ohio State or something, then I would be like, damn, why wasn't I like that in college? But then when I look at her
Yeah.
stuff and I'm like, oh, well, I would never be like that.
Yeah. So I think that there's like a lot of better than you like mentality in influencers, and Alex Earl does not have that. I don't
Yeah.
think she sees herself as I'm too good to even tell you about my night. You know how like Kylie Jenner would post like very like mysterious stories of like
Hmm.
her with like 100 or 1,000 different like tequila shots on one table and be like, oops. And it's like, I
Yeah.
kind of want to hear the story behind that. Why did you
Yeah.
order 1,000 tequila shots? Alex Earl will tell you immediately. Like
Yeah.
she sees you as an equal. Like, let me tell you about how funny my night is.
Hmm.
But Kylie Jenner will just kind of like leave you hanging a little bit, like,
Yeah.
oh, you know? And that's what I like about Alex Earl. It's like she's not above telling the world about her messy life. Um, yeah.
I agree with that. And also, like, Alex just feels approachable in a way that, like,
Hmm.
just the way that she carries herself online. Like, I would go to her for advice because I feel like she would just tell me, like, oh my God, everything's fine. Don't worry about it, which is such a, like,
Yeah.
attractive, I don't know, era.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like she's not afraid to admit her like shortcomings. Like
Hmm.
she's had this like one paper due by the end of the semester, like
Oh,
this
yeah.
whole
The
time.
25-page paper.
Yeah, her 25-page paper. And I'm like kind of stressed for her. And I just
Hmm.
saw her TikTok like today or yesterday where she's like, so I told myself I wasn't going to go out tonight, but it's okay. I did some work last night. And I know I'm rooting for her to get this paper done, but it's like this air of like she's admitting that she's like
Yeah.
kind of doing something questionable, but
Yeah.
she's like, I'm kind of just taking my chance on it. So
Like,
I
how
like
could she
that.
possibly do schoolwork? Like, how could she possibly go to class? Like,
I know.
when she's
That's what
made
I'm
more
wondering.
money this year than, like, I don't know.
I know. I'm excited to see her apartment when she moves and
Me
like see
too.
like where her life takes her. Like she's just like on the fast train to success. I'm
I
so
know.
excited for her.
I'm excited for her too. And I think that I don't know if we were talking about this, but I think that like there's certain people that like get too big for their britches and like immediately recoil. Addison Rae, Charlie D'Amelio.
Oh yeah.
And then I think that there's other people who like come up and they were like born to be famous. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's Alex Earl, Dixie D'Amelio. Like you can just tell that like Dixie like relishes in this fame and like
Hmm.
she just like is like mature enough and she likes it. And then I feel like the same for Alex. Like she's not gonna burn out. Like she wants this.
Yeah. Do you know who Matilda Jeriff is?
Of course.
Okay. So she's someone who I feel like she grew very slowly, but she was able to make such premeditated decisions with her influencing that it was so
Hmm.
sustainable. And she's living a
Yeah.
great life where she's not having to post everything she's doing. She has her brand, Jeriff Avenue.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like, it's kind of just like on autopilot right now.
Yeah, I feel like she was poised. She was at that kind of like point of no return where like when she started getting really big in like 2020 and everyone, she was getting those like Business Insider articles like, who is Matilda Jerf? You know those? And like everyone, like, oh, people love claiming like the next it girl, like, and doing their
I
little
know.
we'll get to this in a second,
Oh
but
my
their little
God.
marketing analysis. And like, she
Yeah.
could have been like full send LA, let's go. And she could have done that, but
Yeah.
she decided to like take more of like a business route.
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
where she lives, Sweden or some shit.
Yeah. Something Nordic.
And like she's definitely well known, but like not in the sense that like your parents know who she is.
No.
Like she's
But
successful, but she's not
yeah.
gonna be at like, I don't know, People's Choice Awards.
Yeah. And she's not relatable to us. Like she lives in
No.
Sweden. But she's kind of aspirational where I love her hair. I love all her outfits. And I think she has the cutest dog ever.
Yeah.
I like love living her life through her Instagram.
I don't even follow her. Like I think she's boring. I actually don't really care for
Oh.
her.
So she is boring. I'll give that to you.
And I
Um,
don't like boring. And that's why I love Alex Earl. Like, that's why she's like my queen hoe. Like, oh my God, the hardest part about deleting TikTok is that I can't keep up with Alex. And so I'm just
oh
like
yeah.
thirsting for her Instagram stories. I am on her Snapchat subscription. This is so embarrassing, but I have notifications. Like when she adds a new Snapchat story, like I watch every single one.
Is she like your like primary influencer?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
also am a very like loyal person and I get like attached to people really easily, especially like, and I'm not claiming that I discovered Alex Earl, but like I just started watching her like right like before she kind of blew up and I just feel a lot of like attachment to her. And I get like
Mm-hmm.
that about like I have a handful of people that I just feel like very attached to. And when I'm
Mm-hmm.
like that with someone, like I'm like a wolf. Like I imprint on people. Like that's how I am with like Ariana Grande. Like I don't miss a beat. Like if I like someone, I will absorb like everything. And I just
Mm-hmm.
like Alex as a person. I don't think she honestly like she doesn't have that great of style. Like it's very like revolve. Like I don't know.
No. No. And
It's
she's
not
not
inspired.
particularly good at her makeup either.
Yeah. Um
But I love it.
like she gets by. Like she's really like she's just naturally pretty and she's just naturally very like striking. But like she doesn't have the best style, she doesn't have the best makeup. She doesn't really do much with her hair besides like curl it. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like this like aura that she puts out like fun, nice, approachable, relaxed. And I'm really
Mm-hmm.
attracted to that like relaxed like everything will work out. It's fine mentality
Mm-hmm.
because that's like what
Yeah.
I want for myself.
It's funny you say that because she does say, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So many times on her TikTok. Like I saw one of her getting ready for a Santa bar crawl where she's like
Yeah.
putting on this like Santa outfit and she's like, so this doesn't really fit me, but it's fine. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'm no longer stressed for you. And I know you
Yeah.
mean. She has this like era of like just chill girl, whatever. And I think, okay, also the new big trend with influencers is that it's cool to be kind. And now, like,
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of started with Hailey Bieber because she
Yes.
and her team were working day and night to get across the message that she is a very kind girl. Because the people didn't like her. The Selena's fans made Hailey a villain, and I think that was really unfair. But it was like supposed to be her brand, like I'm a nice girl, I'm so nice.
Hmm.
And now that's like the new trend. Like influencers are like, oh, she's so nice. She wouldn't hurt a fly. It's like,
Yeah, like
no,
these
she might.
influencers better be watching their fucking back because anytime, like, if someone goes to a restaurant they run into you, you're having an off day, that becomes a TikTok video. Like, I ran
Yeah.
into Kit Keenan and she was such a fucking bitch. Or like, I went to high school with this person. Like, so they better watch their backs.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet, he got like some like dirt aired out about him when he was in high school, and
Mm.
people are like, he was not a nice guy in high school. Like you guys should not like him. And I'm like, well, I don't want to let that taint my version of Timothy Chalamet because I think he's super cool. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Obsessed.
yeah,
I also
his
like,
jawline
oh
does it
my
all for
God.
me.
The way that, did you see the video of him dancing in that little red jumpsuit with his little butt?
Yes, I saw that.
His like teeny tiny little butt, like he's so cute.
I know.
Um, Also the whole like nice thing. Oh, this like bothers me so much because like The way that Haley just got absolutely annihilated for being a mean girl. And like, let's say that everything's true. Like, what did she do? Like, make fun of someone's eyebrows and like the Taylor Swift like gag thing that was from like 10 years ago. And like, that was it was the vibe at the time. Yeah. And also like, it is like just another way to like attack women and to create like an unfair standard for women. So it's like, not only do you have to like, you know, be good at your job and like be all of these things, aspirational, entertainment, like relatability, like all of these things and putting out interesting content. Oh, you also have to be a fucking saint. And guess who doesn't? Yeah. Like the men don't get that treatment.
No.
Like people aren't like, oh my God, like I saw Jake Paul at a coffee shop and he was so rude. Because that's kind of like expected. And also like no one really cares if like Jake Paul is rude because like it's Jake Paul.
Yeah. I think this is like women need to support women. And I feel like when we tear influencers apart, we're tearing ourselves down too. I don't think it's a good reflection of the person tearing the person down or the person being torn down.
Yeah.
Like it's net bad for society.
So that brings me to like something I wanted to talk about. So like the New York City influencers subreddit, and there's some valuable information on there. And like some of it like is very necessary, like people photoshopping their bodies or just like genuine like nefariosity that influencers are doing. Fair. And it's constructive. The way that Haley Kate, do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Was absolutely annihilated on that subreddit for like over a year. She was like the star of that subreddit. And there was one particular user of the subreddit. Every single thing that she would post would end up in that subreddit, and people were vile to her. They called her moon face. Everything that she did like was going in the subreddit, and like some of it, it's like funny, haha, like it's like a fair game. Like, okay, there's influencers like being fucking annoying. Like you're going to put out the content. We're going to make fun of you because it's annoying or because you're lying or whatever. But some of it was just so uncalled for. And it literally is just tearing down women for no reason. And that men do not get that treatment. It is a total net zero. And it was like getting to the point where people were like, okay, does someone want to like make their own subreddit for Haley Kate? Because this is like absurd. And then she put a video on TikTok of her like literally sobbing, talking about the subreddit and just being like, I can't breathe, like I can't do anything, like this is absurd. Then all of a sudden it all like people stopped talking about her.
Oh my God. So I didn't notice that it got quiet about her. Yeah. And now people are going back to their default person make fun of, Audrey Peters. Yeah. Poor girl. I feel so bad for people who get torn apart on that Reddit. That is the most malicious
subreddit. It's so mean.
I've ever seen.
It makes me feel gross to be a part of it sometimes. Yeah.
No, me too. Oh my God. Aiden's computer is trying to do an update. I don't know. No, yeah. Haley Kate's TikToks are so funny. So I first found her on TikTok and I thought, oh my God, this girl's so funny. Like, she's making fun of outfits she wore in high school. And I'm like, I love this. And I started following her and then seeing how people are destroying her. Yeah. I'm like, what do they know that I don't know? You know? Where did I go wrong?
Yeah. I mean, I think some of it is like fair game, and like if someone's posting 5 TikToks a day, like obviously you're gonna find like not everything's gonna appeal to you, like something's like gonna annoy you. Like I followed Haley Kate and then I don't know, I didn't really like her content that much, so I just like unfollowed, and I see her when I see her, no big deal. God, I completely like lost my train of thought. Oh my God. Okay, just remembered. I'm so sorry. Did you have something you wanted to say?
No.
Okay. So another thing that like that this new fixation on for influencers is promoting stuff or like being a role model. So like that's what everyone is getting like Alex Earl for, is like she drinks so much, she's promoting alcoholism, she's promoting binge drinking, like all of her young followers. And I think that is dumb as fuck.
I know. Me too. I think if you were to say I'm an influencer, I would be promoting laying on the couch all day and watching Netflix.
Like, I know. Like not everyone is like Greta Thunberg or Malala. Like some people just like exist like to exist.
Yeah. I don't really want to do much in life. Like come at me. I shouldn't be arrested for that.
I think that it's so dumb. So like we bring Alex Earl up and we hype her up as like the party girl. She's fun. She's crazy. She's spontaneous. She goes to all these parties. She travels all the time. Mm-hmm. We make her so big because like that was kind of her thing. Like, there's not a lot of influencers that are like hardcore, like partiers and like crazy like her. So that kind of became her thing. And now we're like, oh my God, this is disgusting. Like, she has like an IV drip. Like, that is not normal. Like, she's promoting alcoholism to like all of her young followers. And
Yeah.
it's like, she does not have to be like Blippy or like Peppa Pig or like Miss Rachel or whatever just because she has young followers. And so now we have this influencer like who's made this niche and like this corner for themselves on the internet. And then now we have to be like, oh, actually scale yourself down because you need to appeal to like 15-year-olds that are following you. You want to know what we watched when we were 15? Fucking Gossip Girl. Like, this
Yeah.
is not like this whole idea of like censorship, like for young people, like they're gonna find it either way. Like, I was on Tumblr when I was like 14, 15. Like, I wanted an eating disorder so bad because like I just thought like that was cool. And
I
like
know, me
Gossip
too.
Girl, like The Hills, like all of the like fucking
Yeah.
Degrassi,
Oh, I know.
unhinged.
Yeah. And also in Gossip Girl, like we kind of downplay it, but they were drinking hard liquor
Yeah.
as 12-year-olds in the show. Like that's kind of like salacious. But I think what Alex Earl is going through is the opposite of objectifying women. It's putting women on a pedestal where they're
Yeah.
then having all these magnifying glasses on them and they're so overanalyzed. And it's like they're also just a human. And it's just as destructive as objectifying them. Like there's no winning when it comes to like how we portray women and how we react to women. Like everything is censored. Everything has to be exactly perfect. They can't be too nice. They can't be too accommodating, but they can't be too mean. There's no perfect thing for them to do. I don't know. If I was an influencer, I would probably just like ignore all the hate and like not address anything.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that seems to be working for anyone.
And I feel like that's what Alex does. It's like she does a pretty good job of like not commenting on hate or like not addressing it versus like Ken, who responds like every hate comment that she gets.
Yeah.
And it makes her look really like antagonistic and
Yeah.
hot-headed. And people aren't attracted to people that care so much what other people think. I
Yeah.
feel like it's attractive that Alex Earl, you know, she reads what people say. Like, she knows, she
Mhm.
reads it, but she doesn't really care and she keeps doing it. And then Ken will respond to everything and she'll say what we're saying, but for some reason like it doesn't land. Because then people say like, "Oh, you just bought a house in Austin, Texas. You got flown to Paris by Louis Vuitton and you're complaining?" Yikes.
Yeah. No, and that's such a good point. I feel like there's no in between. And I find that Alex Earl's really good at taking like constructive feedback. Like if someone's like, oh, outfit number 2 was so much better than outfit number 1, but you need to switch the pants on the outfits. She would respond saying, genius, I should have thought of that. Like she didn't say
Yeah.
like, well, too late now, bitches. Like she's just like, she acknowledges it, which
So
I
true.
think puts the power back in her hands where you didn't make me feel bad. Look, I acknowledge that you had a really good comment. And it
Yeah.
makes her look good.
Yeah.
It's just whoever has the power in the argument. And I think if you don't react, you don't give that comment power.
Mhm.
That comment only has power when you feel something bad about yourself because you read it.
So true. Literal geniuses.
Um, yeah,
Crazy.
go ahead.
Okay, so let's go into Coachella. So let's talk
Okay.
about Coachella. Coachella, the second weekend just ended. So the first weekend, that's when all the influencers and that's when all the kind of celebrities go, I feel. Even though the way that weekend 2 won. So like Frank Ocean dropped and then we got a Skrillex and Fred against that and Labyrinth brought out Zendaya. Did you
Yeah.
see that?
Yeah. Insane.
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 So I would love, and I don't really know the answer to this exactly how it works, and maybe it's because I've been off TikTok, but I want to know how the brand houses work. So I guess the different tiers of going to Coachella is that celebrities, main celebrities, Kylie Jenner, Kendall, Haley, they go to Coachella and they get artist passes and they probably just helicopter in and out, or maybe they have an Airbnb or whatever.
Yeah.
And then if you're not rich enough to do that and to make it as seamless as possible, because Coachella's a grind. And the way to flaunt your wealth or status at Coachella is to make it as seamless as possible. You're not getting on those big shuttles. Like, you're not waiting for an Uber. Like, you either have your own limo or whatever. So then the second best thing is getting invited through a brand and staying at
Hmm.
their house, which is
Hmm.
what the top influencers get. And then I guess below that is getting a house like with your friends.
Hmm. And
What do
getting like
you
VIP.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know that artist passes is the big thing at Coachella, and a lot of people flaunt that. Like, oh, do you have
Mhm.
VIP or artist? I've heard that that's a point of contention.
Oh my God. And I don't think you can even buy artist. I think the point
Yeah.
is you have to get it from Coachella staff or from an artist.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can buy that. So, for a brand to get artist passes, that says a lot about the brand and about the people they're inviting. That the people who run Coachella, I don't know who it is, they feel like, oh yeah, they should get artist passes. Like, we
Yeah.
don't want, it's a liability for Coachella to give a big celebrity general admission. Like, that's bad news
Yeah.
for Coachella and for that celebrity. It's mutually horrible. They want,
Yeah.
yeah, big people to have the artist passes. But go
So the
on.
big house this year was the Guest House, which really took me by surprise because I didn't think
Hmm.
Guest was cool anymore.
No, no. I feel like they're trying to rebrand with Alex Earl.
So yeah, Alex Earl was in that house with her plus ones, Kristen, her best friend, and her sister Ashton. I love the
Hmm.
dynamic between Alex and Ashton because it's such a little sister, big sister vibe. Like you can
I
just
know.
tell that Alex like fawns over Ashton. Like everything
Yeah.
she does, and Ashton's like, all right, even though I was your plus one to Coachella, like stop.
Yeah. No. No. I love Ashton. And I love how whenever she posts an Instagram picture to her grid, Alex
Mhm.
Earl always shares her story
I
immediately.
know.
It's like
Yeah.
she's her influencer. It's really cute.
Yeah, that's actually so sweet. And
Oh,
David Dobrik and Squad. So he was there and he was like posting with Alex so much. And then there's also like Stassi Baby, Love of Our Life, Devin Lee Carlson, and Bryant. So I feel like that was the top tier influencer house or top tier LA influencers. And Alex
mhm.
has really kind of fit into that like LA mold.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, so I think she fits really well into the LA mold, but I like how she seems to be trying to just do her own thing in Miami. Like it's
Yeah.
very reminiscent of Chloe and Courtney Take
Take
Miami,
Miami.
kind of that vibe when they were just trying to start their own business and are going out clubbing in Miami. They're just away from like the fame and
Yeah.
like the attention in LA. Um, yeah, I feel like she fits in seamlessly.
I think that she fits in seamlessly on a social level, but I think that her staying in Miami is the smartest thing that she can do.
100%.
So I don't know if the guest house gave them artist passes, but I'm definitely curious. But I feel like there's no way. I don't
They
know.
flew them private. That's what
I
was the
know.
most astonishing thing about the guest house.
Yeah, that's
I'm
huge.
I took so many screenshots after weekend one, and that's what I'm looking at to remember all my trains of thought.
Yeah.
So that was like the first one that I was like, oh my God, like that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Um,
pretty nuts. Flying into Coachella private. And then, of course, people like to speculate on if there's drama between like Xandra and Alex. So, like, Xandra Poles, you know her.
yeah.
Like she and Alex were like OG friends at Miami. And I think they're in the same broader friend group, but they're not in the same hyper concentrated friend group. So I like to think that, I mean, they're friends like in the way that like you and I were friends with like other people in Tried Out that weren't like necessarily in our friend group, but like friendly
Yeah.
when we were together. People love to speculate on their drama. I just don't think it's that deep. But
No,
Xandra went with BMW, which is
I know.
random.
So random. What is BMW doing? You're the car girl, Lily.
I
Can you
know
tell me
when I
their
saw
brand
that,
strategy?
I was like, huh? Because that's so, I don't know. Like Chevy would never
Lily,
do that.
if GM were to do a house, you would have to run it. That
Oh,
would
I know,
be
right?
iconic. You could retire after that. That'd be the peak
No,
of your
literally.
career.
But yeah, it
Me
was
too.
just, I wonder like if Sandra was mad that like Alex flew private and like she drove to Coachella.
I know. And the private jet looks really fun, but it also
Yeah, it
looks
did look
like
fun.
part of the point of it was for them to take video in it and make it look like
Of
Guess has all this
course.
money. I mean,
Of
obviously that was their
course.
strategy, but it just seemed like, you know how like when influencers get a sponsorship and it'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, we want you to take two stories saying this.
Yeah.
And like with Caseify, they always have to do that stupid like drop to show that
Yeah.
it's like shatterproof, whatever. I'm sure in their contract it said you have to post at least three stories in the plane. One of them has to be a video, and you have to say guess like five times. something like
Because
that.
there's,
You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
that's what I have to do at work sometimes. Like if I'm at a work event, like there's hashtags that they want us to use. Like they want me to tag the
Yeah.
car brand I'm working with, like use the two event hashtags. It's pretty standard. What I want to know is when all of this happened, because Alex didn't get huge, huge until December.
Hmm.
And, so that was December, Coachella's in April. So I'm inclined to think that she would have had her house planned before December.
Yeah.
I need to know the timeline. Like, this is what I want to know. So, like, I don't know. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
how did she decide, or did they invite her to come to this house before she blew up? So, like, they just had an inkling that she would be famous? Or maybe did she have plans before this? Like, maybe she was going to Coachella just as a normal person because she's been to Coachella before. Like, she went as a lay person last year. So maybe she had plans to go to Coachella and then she was already going, but then Guess invited her, so she canceled her original plans and went with Guess.
Yeah. So there were theories with Ultra, which she went to
Mm-hmm.
as a lay person, as you said. And everyone loved that she was in general admission. She was just like in the mosh pit, like
Yeah.
getting sweaty and gross. Like, and she even talks about it. People loved that. But everyone was speculating, like, she probably was invited backstage. She probably was invited to get VIP or something, and she turned it down. My theory is because she already had plans with all her friends
Yeah.
who bought GA.
Mm-hmm.
But then Coachella, I'm sure she was going with a couple friends, like maybe Xandra, maybe her little sister Ashton, and her friend Bree. I don't know who that
Yeah.
is, but her Bree she took. Um, but I'm sure as soon as like guests came in, she immediately hopped on it. Like, well, if I can take Bree and my little sister, I'll do it.
She
Because it
took
seemed like,
Kristen.
oh, she took Kristen. Who's
Yeah.
that
And
Bree girl?
Ashton's her older sister,
Oh, whoops,
which makes the
Ashton.
concept so much richer. That, like, it's just such a natural, like, big sister, little sister dynamic. No
Oh
matter
my God.
how, doesn't that, like, it makes the
Yeah.
narrative so much better because, like, I don't have a younger sister, obviously, and, like, you do, so maybe you get this, but it's like, no matter like how rich or famous or successful the younger sister gets, they will never have the approval of the older sister.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Yeah, so I feel like she had to have negotiated her way with guests to like
Yeah.
bring who she wanted, and I'm sure it was last minute. She definitely was gonna go. Like,
Yeah. So yeah, she obviously like brought Kristen, who just seems so nice. Kristen Konefal.
I know, and she's an
Yeah.
artist.
I know.
Have
I
you seen
love
her
that for
art?
her.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I know. And it's like fucking good for her too. Like now she has all these followers and I'm sure that her art business is probably booming.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm off TikTok, so like I couldn't see any ultra content besides what she put on her stories. So and also that's like the thing about Alex, and she's said this before. I mean, even back when she was dating Tyler Wade, when she was in LA with him, she flew back a day early because she wanted to go to that Santa bar crawl with her friends. And she
Mm,
has this mentality of friends over everything. And she said this before. It's like her friends are her everything. At the end of the day, she'll always pick her friends, which is so smart because it can be lonely at the top. Like if you want to climb your way up to the top, you're naturally going to lose some people. And then the
yeah.
friends that you acquire on the top, like David Dobrik posting pictures with her 24/7, even like Dixie posting pictures, like all of those
Yeah.
friendships are transactional
Yeah.
because like when you meet when you're at the top, you're never going to have that connection because every famous person has their own little circle of people
Yeah.
that just kind of follow them. So
Yeah.
it's smart to like keep your circle and bring them up with you instead of trying to join someone else's.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's kind of like I have a theory that celebrities get divorced more often than like normal
Hmm.
Americans, whatever, just because those relationships are so transactional and it's
Yeah.
so status jumping. And you just cannot tell what is real and what is fake. Even when you're in love with someone, you can't tell, well, what is the number one thing they love about me? My fame or
Yeah.
me? You know?
Yeah.
I agree. And I feel like keeping those OG friends, like we as people who watch Alex Earl, we love her friends. We love
Hmm.
watching them. I love watching Xandra.
Hmm.
She's from Cincinnati, so I'm a really big Xandra stan.
Oh, okay.
And my little cousin knows people who are friends with Sandra. I know that's so like, oh my god, my mom knows someone who knows
Yeah.
this and whatever. But I feel like I now have a connection to Xandra, and I'm like
Yeah.
diehard Xandra girl. But I wouldn't be like that with like if Alex Earl was just to become friends with Zendaya tomorrow. I don't know if I would be like a stan of that friendship as much as I am
Yeah.
between Xandra and Alex.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Totally agree with that. So other houses, UGG looked really big. So Acquired Style, one of those NYC influencers, she's in that like circle.
Hmm.
Camilla Marone, Leonardo DiCaprio's ex-girlfriend, and she was
Yeah.
just in Daisy Jones and the
Daisy
Six.
Jones. Yeah.
And Lauren Wolf, who's also in that NYC circle.
Hmm. And Kenzie Elizabeth, she has a podcast called I Love You So Much. I don't know if
Yeah.
she was also there.
Okay.
That's how I first saw the UGG house. That was a very interesting thing. I didn't expect UGG to have
Me
a
neither.
house because I think of them as a winter
Of
Christmas
course.
brand.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like UGG is trying to change seasons. Like, they're such a
Yeah.
fall winter brand. They're trying to embrace season, not season, spring, summer, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like that was the strategy with them. BMW, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. But UGG, I'm like, okay, you know what? I get why they invested so much to have a house. They're not cheap. That's like thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah. I mean, it is UGG Australia,
It
after
is.
all. It's warm weather at its core.
Yeah.
I just, yeah, so that whole like New York City influencer circle, I don't really like a lot of them. And they seem like, I don't know, I just couldn't really picture myself enjoying hanging out with them. They seem really like superficial, but I guess so do the LA influencers. I think it all comes back to entertainment for me. Like, I just love to be entertained. I love entertaining people. I love messy people. That's like kind of why
Hmm.
I'm like a Tana Mojo stan. I
Yeah.
just love chaos. And I feel like the New York influencers, it's this really, I woke up, went to Equinox, I got some matcha, I did some business meetings, and I'm like, oh my God, can we talk about the political and socioeconomic state of the world? Not
Yeah.
actually, but
No,
I
I
just,
know what you mean. You know Paige Lorenz.
yeah,
She was an OG NYC influencer and now she's upstate New York, I don't know where she is, on a farm with her
yeah,
horses. Total rebrand for her, but
hmm,
she fits the mold perfectly and I
yeah,
think it's made me like her more because I think in New York there's something like infectious in the air of like I need to have a business, I need to be making money, I need to work, work,
yeah,
work, and they love the grind. And I will go to New York for work sometimes and I like love my career when I'm there and I'm like what is in the air here? It's like everyone's a workaholic all of a sudden. And I think that influencers, they're so poised and premeditated with what they
yeah,
post because they're trying to sell you something versus
yeah,
the ones in LA are just kind of like, well, this is my life. Sorry.
no
Siren.
worries. No, I
Uh,
agree with that for sure.
Because that was a hot take. I'm getting the cops coming
Yeah.
after me.
Arrest her. It's like the New York influencers, like Kit Keenan's like, stop. Um,
Stop. You're on fire right now. That's a scalding hot take. Also, the funniest thing about Kit Keenan, I feel like, I don't know, when she's in Cabo in 2022, she wore ballet flats one night, and that was the only thing Reddit could talk about for actual weeks. Everyone would like post pics of ballet flats and be like, "Hey guys, like I'm just thinking about wearing this. I'm the daughter of Cynthia Rowley, and I want to wear this." And it was like a joke. They're being
mhm.
sarcastic, just roasting her for wearing ballet flats. But now they're coming back in.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what Kikinen always reminds me of now. Her Cabo outfits.
I thought, and this is where it also comes into frequency bias or confirmation bias. Like, I thought that she was going to be the it influencer. Like, at one point, I considered her an A-list influencer, but then I got bored of her and unfollowed her and naturally started seeing her less.
Hmm.
But I don't know if maybe it's just because I unfollowed her, or do you think she's kind of fallen off, or
Hmm.
what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if you also believe in this, but I think the more sponsorships you do, the less people like you.
So
And
true.
she was doing a lot of like sponsorships. I think she did one for mayonnaise. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Like
but she did one that
Hellman's?
was yeah, I think she did one for Hellman's.
Weird.
I know. It was there was something like really weird. Some condiment sponsored her and she did like a little like I think she made like chicken salad wraps or something with like Hellman's mayonnaise or something.
Mm,
And I think that was diluting her brand a little bit and
yeah.
it was taking away power from her because it seemed like she was going for like I need money versus let me just authentically influence you. Like I've never seen an influencer being like Hellman's mayonnaise. This is the best stuff ever. This is why you should buy it. You
Super
know?
weird. Totally. I think that's, why a lot of people, or like why Sydney Sweeney's kind of starting to rub people the wrong way because, I mean, she's the face of like 97 different brands. And it's also because
Yeah.
she had that interview where she said that, she is like struggling financially, or she didn't say she was
Yeah.
struggling, but she basically just said that she does all these partnerships because like lifestyle creep. And I
Yeah.
understood that. But it's the fewer sponsorships. It's like the more secretive you are, the more people will be curious. Like Alexa
Yeah.
Dimmy, people are always like, what is she doing? What's she up to? Like Jacob
Yeah.
Elordi, like they're a little bit more elusive. But influencers don't always have that luxury. It's because they
Yeah.
have to be on all the time or
Yeah.
they have to post all the time. So it's like, how do you find that balance? And do you have the luxury? And Kit Keenan does have the luxury of being picky with who she does sponsorships with. She doesn't
Yeah.
need to do a sponsorship with mayonnaise.
No.
Like she can wait
No.
around to be flown out by Louis Vuitton. Like I feel like why wasn't she flown out by Louis Vuitton, or why isn't she on like any of these high fashion brand trips?
Yeah. I was curious why she didn't go to Coachella. It seemed like she didn't. She
No,
should have
she
didn't
did go. She did
Oh,
go.
she did go.
She
Oh,
went to
okay.
Revolve Fest at least.
Oh. Which
Yeah.
was juicy because it really was so low key this year.
It was. And that was I read an interview with their like creative person, like Raisa something. And they purposefully like had low key this year. I want to know why Ken Urich didn't go to Coachella.
Yeah. Did Jenna Pallet go?
I
I can't
know.
remember.
No, she
I don't
didn't.
follow her. Yeah, there's so many influencers who I normally would pin as going to go, and they didn't. Margot
Yeah.
Oshry, I'm gonna say
Ashray.
that wrong. Oshray, she is. I think she's going to Stagecoach instead of Coachella,
The Ashrays are
which
stagecoach people.
which I totally get. Claudia was live streaming Coachella, totally get. That's what I did, and it's fantastic. It kind of makes me want to go to Stagecoach, see how much they like it.
So I think that Coachella is a fucking grind. And I think that there's the mentality of if you don't get invited to the best brand and the best house, and Coachella's the kind of thing where if you're gonna go, you want it to be figured out. Like it's a fucking grind. It's a struggle. Like it's hot, it's far, there's traffic, there's shuttles, it's unreliable, like it gets cold at night. And if you aren't going where you have everything figured out, all your ducks in a row, you got the VIP, you have shuttles, like you're going with a good brand, then it's almost not worth it to
Yeah,
go.
it's almost like embarrassing, I think, to some. If like they were invited by a brand last year and then this year they weren't, it's like admitting that your career is falling, but they try to spin it
Yeah.
as like, oh, I'm just rebranding, I'm doing Stagecoach instead.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think and it's because it is the influencer Olympics, which I think is like stupid to say, but it is kind of true in that I feel like Coachella, it's kind of like it's like the reset for the year. Like it sets the tones for the year. Like, okay, who's on top?
It does. It's kind of
Yeah.
like Abby Lee Dance Company's like Pyramid. You know, Dance
Yes.
Moms, how
Yeah,
they
yes,
do
of
Pyramid.
course.
It's really like that. I thought the most like cool house to me this year was the Poosh house, like Kourtney
Yeah.
Kardashian's brand. That house was insane. I took screenshots of all their like PR packages and like what
Yeah.
was on their bed. It was insane. But I just didn't see it coming. Like, why are they putting all this money out? Like, Poosh was already established. Like,
Yeah.
what are they trying to get? And the people who were invited, I think like Kensington
Yeah, she
was
was.
there.
Monet,
Monet was there.
Girl
It
Boss
was
Town.
like Girl Boss Town. I love Girl
Me
Boss
too.
Town. It was like they seem to have picked the least problematic people, in my opinion. And I'm like, what is the brand strategy here? That's like what I'm always thinking about. Is like, what are they trying to accomplish with these influencers in this house? What do they want
Yeah.
me to think?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the guest house was taking the route of like who's the biggest, problematic, doesn't matter, who's gonna make our house look fucking fun. And if you
Yeah.
want to get the people that it's gonna make it look like a good ass time, Alex Earl, David Dobrik, Bryant.
Yes.
Like controversies aside, scandals aside, no matter what you think of them, if you want content where like I look at that house and I'm like, that looks fun. That looks like they're having a good time. Versus Poosh, very safe people. Like Monet's just such a great influencer. Like she's genuinely good at creating content. The way that she edits her TikToks, it's like a mini movie.
Yeah.
And Kensington is good too. Like she's safe. She's just really safe. And then Girl Boss
Yeah.
Town is also just because she gets it. She's like a PR girl. She's never going to do
Yeah.
anything crazy. She's also
Yeah.
sober, which is hard.
Yeah. And I think she and Kourtney Kardashian have collabed before, or she was like at some
She
Good
was
American
invited to the
event.
Kardashians premiere or something
Yeah,
like
she was at
that. Yeah.
Nobu with them.
Yes. So
Yeah.
jealous.
Yeah. So I feel like the Kardashians like her. I
Me
feel like
too.
they're stans of each other.
Yeah, because the Kardashians will pick different people to align with, and that's kind of what they did with Not Skinny but Not Fat, is they'll pick different like media, quote unquote,
Yeah.
who are gonna be like safe for them. Like they don't need to be up their ass, but
Yeah.
like someone that like gets it and they can be objective, but at the end of the day, like they pull for them.
Yeah. 100%.
Cool. So I'm excited to see where that ends up. I know that like Coachella, everyone like complains about it too, which I think irritates other people because it's so many people's dream to go see like Frank Ocean, even though like it fell off. Um, but I just, in going to festivals, I've been to so many festivals, like it is such a grind. And for so long, I said, like, oh, I'd never go to Coachella. It sounds so hard. Like, if you don't have VIP or you're invited with a brand, there's no point in going. But then I was thinking the other day, I was like, I could do Coachella. Like, I've camped for festivals. Like, I understand long lines and heat and comfy shoes and just being patient. And when you're at festivals, you just really have to go with the flow because something's going to go wrong. Like, I have that mentality. I want to go to Coachella.
Hmm.
I'll fucking say it. I would even do Weekend too.
That was so brave of you.
So brave of me. Okay, so let's transition and talk about the woman of the hour, Sofia Richie.
Oh my God.
Mazel tov
This
to
is the case
Sofia.
study of the year. Like, this is encapsulates everything we're saying about influencers into one. Like, Sofia Richie, you can help me introduce her. She is Lionel Richie's daughter. I forget who her mom is.
Like Diane Alexander, I think, even though I don't really know
Yeah.
who that is.
Yeah. I don't know who her mom is. I think she did something. Like
Yeah.
she's known for something, but Lionel Richie is her dad. And she formerly dated Scott Disick. That's how she got put onto my radar. I
Well,
always
she
knew about
dated
her.
Justin Bieber too.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Like right. So during that 2015, 2014, 15, 16, that area when he was juggling Selena and Haley, she was in there for a little bit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Scandalous. This is
From
salacious content.
when she was like 17, like they spent her 18th birthday together. I know, right? And then he married Haley.
Oh my God. The timeline of all that drama is crazy.
Crazy.
Because he basically proposed to Haley like a couple weeks or just like 3 months at most after breaking up with Selena or Sophia. I don't know who it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sophia, I feel like she hasn't done anything. I think she's a model,
Yeah.
but she's kind of an iconic Nepo baby. And I have nothing against Nepo babies. I think Nepo babies are inevitable.
Yeah.
To put it bluntly, I think they're going to happen.
Yeah.
Celebrities are going to have kids. What do we think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
It's
know. I
yeah.
think if I was a Nepo
It's
baby,
only
I'd take
natural
advantage of my dad's
to
brand. I don't know.
Of course. And it's like very natural to pursue the career of your parents because you saw that it gave them success. Like when I was in LA, like 3 weekends ago, I was talking to this guy and he is a sign painter for movie sets. So like anytime like on a set, like there's the name of a bar, but it like those are all hand painted. So like he's like a sign painter. And he is in the sign painters union, like set painters and sign painters. It was the most interesting conversation. And he was telling me all this drama between like the sign painters who are like seen as the artistic, like delicate paint with their hands versus the set painters who use like the hand rollers and paint those big giant structures like out in the heat, but they're all in the same union. And being in a union when you work in the film industry is the best thing that you can do because you get unemployment. Anytime you're between projects, you can get on unemployment immediately. You always have work to do and you always have fair pay, fair wages, and fair hours, and you never get exploited. You have the whole union behind you, which is basically like a gang.
Yeah.
And so you pay your dues, whatever, but the unions are really hard to get into. It has like a multi-year long wait list. Some people wait for like 15 years to get into the union, but his dad is in the union as a sign painter and has been for 30 years. And this kid who's like my age, he got into the union the second that he decided that he wanted to be a sign painter. And it was just so interesting. Like, it just goes to show that, like, there's Nepo babies everywhere. And it's
Yeah.
not, it's the most, like, natural thing to, like, of course, you've seen, like, if you've seen the success that your parent had, and it enabled you the childhood that you had, and you love your parent, and you idolize them, like, it's very natural to like want to go after that career. And I like
Yeah.
joked with him and I was like, "Oh, so you're a Nepo baby." And he's like, "Oh my God, like I'm the definition of a Nepo baby. Like I don't want people to know, like sometimes I feel guilty because people ask me how I got into the union so young and like I don't know." So it's just interesting.
Yeah. I think they're everywhere. It's kind of just like,
I
oh my
mean, my
gosh, I was gonna
dad
say
isn't
herpes. I was gonna say
it's
it's
like
absolutely everywhere.
HPV, you know?
Yeah.
Like my
Yeah.
dad is a Nepo baby. I get like he took over his dad's business. Like, I mean, my boyfriend, like he got an internship at GM where both his parents have worked for 30 years. Like now he works at GM. Like I also love like calling people Nepo babies, like even if it's not Nepo, like oh, I did something the other day, I like can't remember what, but if it's like if you have any connection anywhere, I'm like, oh, so you're a Nepo baby. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, let's go to this bar. Like my friend owns it. I can get us free drinks. And I'm like, okay, Nepo baby. Like,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's like any connection you have, whether it's like how warm of a connection is, nepotism immediately. No
yeah,
questions asked.
it just boils down to like connections. And that's just
Yeah.
how like anything works. Pretty much every job or
Yeah.
internship that I've gotten, like I have known someone who knew someone that was able to like float my resume along.
Yeah. Or even just like in sales, like you're
Yeah.
more likely to buy a product from someone who you have a standing relationship with. Like
Yeah.
this isn't anything new. I'm sure cavemen were like this too. I'm sure nepotism originated from them. So
There
they're
were
like, oh,
Nepo cavemen, of course.
yeah. Oh, 100%. I'm descended from one, in fact. I'm a nepo baby.
Oh, we're all Nepo babies.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sofia Richie, her dad's Lionel Richie, obviously like iconic Motown singer. And she just, you know, lived in LA, had that Nepo baby life. She dated Justin Bieber and then she dated Scott Disick for 4 years, 3 or 4 years. And that was definitely really crazy. I don't know the whole Scott Courtney timeline. I'm not super up to date with them. And I don't know if, but whatever. But I guess the general consensus is that while she was dating Scott, he's obviously still very hung up on Courtney. And it was just weird because he's 40 and they started dating when she was maybe like 19 or 20.
Yeah. Problematic is all I remember. I was like, questionable.
But I remember her going on vacations with them and with Courtney too. Do you remember that?
Yeah. And I think she and Scott met at Kylie's birthday party. And I
Interesting.
think he met her because she was already friends with Kylie. And I think that's where it's kind of crossing the line for me. I know, like, you always say, like, I don't really care about age gaps. And honestly, neither do I. I find it a little bit disgusting when, like, people pray after, like, 17-year-old girls and, like, tracking when their 18th birthday is. That's pushing it
This
for
one
me.
I do care about. And let me just
Yeah.
let the record show that I'm not like everyone can date everyone. Like I'm not like that. I just think that it's different circumstances. I think that Scott as a 40-year-old dating a 19-year-old, and I don't know the ages, so sorry. Something along those lines. I think that is particularly heinous and egregious and needs to be tried and prosecuted.
Literally
But
heinous.
literally heinous for lack of a better term. But I think that certain other age gaps like Billie Eilish and like Jesse James Rutherford, like I think that
No.
10
Doesn't bother me.
years is not really that
Yeah.
crazy,
Or
and
Florence
especially
Pugh.
in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh and
And
Zach Braff.
I don't really care. They seem like they're in love.
No, they're
But
broken up.
I know they broke up,
Oh,
but
yeah,
like
yeah,
it
yeah.
seemed like they were. But I felt like Scott Disick, like I think he strategically went after Sophia as kind of a way of like proving to Courtney, like,
Yeah.
look, like you get older, but my like girlfriends have the same age forever. I think it was
Yeah.
kind of something like that. Sorry, that's totally
Yeah,
political.
like Taylor Swift, you know.
Yeah,
I'll get older, but your lovers stay my age.
yeah, no, for sure. I think she said that about Jake Gyllenhaal,
Yeah.
which is it's just something we see over and over again in Hollywood. But it felt extra nefarious from Scott Disick. I think they only
Totally.
dated for like a year, two at max. It was like kind of like
Scott
a
and
blip in
Sophia.
time. Yeah, I don't
I
think it
feel
was
like they
long.
dated for longer. I gotta
Okay,
look it up.
yeah, I think we need to get we need to get this down.
Okay, on and off relationship for more than 3 years. Let's look up their age gap.
Oh my God. I also keep thinking I'm 22, but I'm very much 26. So like
Oh
I should
yeah.
not be telling time.
Okay, so he's 15 years older than her.
Okay.
So
I we were kind of on the dot with that. 15.
okay, yeah, and Lionel Richie had like Lionel Richie is thanking God that she didn't marry him because he obviously hated that. And so they started dating when Sophia was 19 and Scott was 34.
It's
So
just
that's
totally
that's
different.
pretty heinous.
Yeah. And it felt premeditated. I feel like I always come at this from like a legal standpoint, but I didn't feel like it was just happenstance. Like, oh, I just met
Yeah.
her at the party and she was nice and we decided to go on a
Yeah.
date. It kind of felt like he might have gone after her. Now, I don't know. I love Sofia Richie. I would love if she could, you know, tell us for certain like how it happened, but doubt she will.
Yeah, I don't
Anyway,
think she will either. And also because Scott, like, he continues to date younger women. Like, he dated Amelia Hamlin with an 18-year age gap, and they're not together
hmm
anymore, thankfully. So, okay, so she was with Scott, and it was just uncomfortable to watch. So then they broke up, and then she was kind of like dating around a little bit. So then she got engaged to Elliot Grange, who is the son of the CEO of Universal Music, so like big music producer. And I think like the consensus around this is everyone like really ships that. So I think he's 30, so like 6 year age gap. That is more than appropriate for a Hollywood romance. Like we have to keep in mind that like celebrities and people that grow up famous, their 20 years old or 25 years old is completely different than like how
hmm
our like 20 years old are. So like Millie Bobby Brown, like she just got engaged to Jake Bon Jovi's son. They are the same age. They're both 20 and everyone's like losing their mind. First of all, it's just so annoying because the Stranger Things kids, or like any child that gets famous, people are just constantly shocked that they age. And
hmm
so when she got engaged, everyone was like, I thought she was 12. But like she has been famous since she was like 10. So like she's been famous for 10 years. Like her being
hmm
20 years old is nothing like how we were when we were 20. Like
No.
you just grow up so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, and like she isn't in college. She doesn't have like debt, or I don't think she does. Like she's financially stable. She has a career. She has lived way more life than a lot of us
Yeah.
have lived. She has been through a lot more like shit, i.e., like Drake. You know,
Yeah.
like she's already been through the ringer. I'm sure she's very mature and she has her head on right when she's getting engaged. Like it's
That's what I
not
think too.
crazy.
I don't think it's crazy either. But anyways, back to Sophia. She just got married this weekend, so like a year-long engagement in the south of France. And this wedding kind of I don't want to say sprung out of nowhere, but all of a sudden like she was in the south of France and everyone was just collectively like, "Oh my God, the wedding is happening."
Yeah, you're missing out on her TikToks, Lily. She made a TikTok account and it's only been like her getting ready. She is amazing. I'm like, I love this girl. I want her to be my A1 influencer forever. I think, so people are speculating that her team strategically had her make her TikTok account now because
Yeah.
her name is Sofia Richie Grange. She already has her like new name on there. As a way to kind of rebrand her from just being like a nepo baby, like, oh, I just date famous people, to like, no, I'm going to be an influencer. And the way she just like casually talks is so Alex Earl adjacent. It's crazy. You need to download TikTok just for this.
I know. I've been like thinking, I was like, maybe I should get back on. I don't know. I'm sad that I'm missing it. But yeah, so Sophia's really big right now, and it comes at a perfect time where everyone has this obsession with like old money.
Yeah. 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 And she, like, so her dress is custom Chanel, and her like reception dress was Chanel. I think it's all been Chanel, except for her like Friday night dress. I forget where it
Yeah.
was from, but it's like a collared dress. It's super cute. Um, I think she's really played her cards well in terms of this. Like, she obviously has a lot of money. She's getting married in South of France. This is not relatable in any way, but it's approachable, and she's telling it to me like she's not better than me.
Yeah.
She's saying it how it is. She's like, I'm really excited And her number one takeaway about getting married is this is all well and good, but I'm just so excited to be married to Elliot. It's like her
Yeah.
one takeaway. And I think that's kind of the aspirational thing of like, she seems to have found true love and she seems so happy. Like, I want this one day, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. And then I think just everything like with Scott in perspective too, like knowing that she was a victim and now that she's
Hmm.
finally found true love with someone who's like a normal guy, like yes, he's rich. I think his family's like even richer than hers, but like she's found true love. And yeah, this kind of goes back to where you can overcome the relatability of being an influencer. Like you don't have to be relatable, but having like this quality of like approachable, nice, grateful.
Hmm.
People are like you need to be
Yeah.
grateful and
Hmm.
aspirational and like inspired. You know,
Yeah.
so like her looks are inspired. Like it's custom Chanel, it's unique,
Yeah.
it's made for her. She's not shopping on Revolve because like anyone can
No.
kind of do that.
Yeah. No. And the other thing is old money is not relatable. And she's definitely kind of in this like more old money, even though she isn't by
Yeah.
definition old money. Um, she is not relatable in any way with this marriage, but it's so approachable, which I think is like a really like fine line
Yeah.
to toe. Um, Whereas like Kardashians, I saw this TikTok comparing like Sophia's Richie wedding to like outfits that the Kardashians wear, and like they're wearing stuff that it looks like it was ripped off from Fashion Nova kind of
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
not that the Kardashians have bad style, but it's just so interesting seeing how Sophia Richie and the Kardashians approach their fame at such different angles and like what they want to get across to you is so different. She's not
Yeah.
trying to let you know she's rich. She's trying to share the joy she's having. It's kind of my
Yeah.
takeaway.
I get that. And the Kardashian style and lifestyle can be easily appropriated, I think.
Hmm.
Like we've seen so many like Kim will wear something out and then Fashion Nova will create an exact replica. And you
Yeah.
can look like them if you want. Like their look is like achievable almost. Like okay, you want to
Hmm.
inject yourself with fillers and you want to like be a clout chaser. Like anyone can pretend to be riding in a G-Wagon getting like you can
Hmm.
make your life look like anything on social media,
Yeah.
like if you really
Yeah.
want to try. But Sophia, like
100%.
that is not like you're not going to be able to look like you're wearing custom Chanel. You know that like I don't know if it's not tweed, but the that kind of material that Chanel
Yeah.
does where it's like this suit almost like
Yes.
you can tell when like you can just tell when something is quality or not. Like that is
Yeah.
not like able to be repeated. But
Oh,
yeah, the
yeah.
old money thing, I understand, and I'm not going to argue semantics because that's annoying. But like the old money aesthetic, I think is a more appropriate term. Like Sophia's not old money. If you're just your dad got rich, like that's not old money. Old money is generational wealth,
Hmm.
and that like spans generation. I don't know if you like read, but do okay, like tell me like a celebrity that you think is like generational wealth.
Oh,
We'll
shoot,
see
I
if we
know
think of the
one.
same one.
There is someone. Okay, it's not Billie Eilish. Who am I thinking of? Who are you thinking of?
Julia Louis Dreyfus and Anderson Cooper.
Yes, Anderson
Are
Cooper is so like old money.
he's in the Vanderbilt family. Like he's in the Vanderbilt family. Julia Louis Dreyfus is from Seinfeld and Veep. Her grandfather's grandfather started the Louis Dreyfus merchant firm and at one
Oh.
point was one of the five wealthy families in France. The company, and I pulled this from Wikipedia, the company makes up 10% of the world's agricultural product trade flows, and it's the world's largest cotton and rice trader.
Oh my God.
Like that is generational wealth. That is
Yeah.
old money. Being a part of the
Yeah.
Vanderbilt family, old money.
Yeah.
But
And you know how they say money talks, wealth whispers?
yeah,
I don't see Anderson Cooper going on the red carpet putting on his like Bulgari like snake like watch and
yeah,
his like Valentino bag. Like he's not like maybe he is. I don't know. I don't know Anderson Cooper that much, but he's not flaunting. It's like this is just like a fact of his life.
yeah.
And I
So
think that's what
yeah,
people are trying to get away from is like you can just like understand I'm rich and I don't have to tell you.
yeah. I think that's like what people are become because everything ebbs and flows. Like everything is a pendulum. Like we've done like 10 years of the Kardashian, like whatever, flashy logos, private jets, like just spending like a lot of money or looking really rich or having these old like big labels, and now people are really attracted to people that like are able to like communicate wealth without like really saying anything, and that's like Sofia Richie.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay, the number one comment on her TikToks I thought was really interesting. It was people saying like, "Am I the only one who has never heard her talk before?" And it was kind of interesting. Like I had never heard Sophia Richie
Yeah.
speak a word before because it was always like Instagram model, like where she was kind of like more distant. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know who she was. She was mysterious. Like I didn't know much about her. But now I feel like when you start talking and addressing your audience, you're kind of breaking the fourth wall a
Yeah.
bit, and it's allowing your viewers to have a relationship with you. And I think that's been a big step for her. Like when you're always just like taking pictures, whatever, it's not, I don't feel like I know you. But once I hear your voice and I see your mannerisms, I'm like, oh, I could
Yeah.
pick you out in a crowd now.
Yeah. Yeah, Sophia like has like she's pretty distant but like stays relevant, which is the perfect way to be, and only few can afford that luxury. And
Yeah.
I don't know to what extent she's like a fame monster, because maybe she is. Like maybe she loves being famous. Like I don't know. But we don't really see paparazzi pictures. We don't hear stories about her clubbing. She will do every once in a while like those glamour kind of like gaggy videos. I saw one on YouTube she did like Sophia like can't tell the difference between like $9 hoops. You know how they have that like video that's like
Oh,
they'll have
yeah.
celebrities like they'll show them like a diamond ring that's like $1 million, and then they'll show them one that's like moissanite that's like $100,
Yeah.
and then like have people guess. She did like one of those, and I feel like she has the luxury of like picking and choosing what she wants. So like maybe a couple times a year she'll do a video with Vogue, or like maybe she'll go to the Met, but like she's not going to be like thirst monstering it up. And now that she like
hmm
has this TikTok, I mean, maybe she does want to transition to being more public.
hmm Yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, is she trying to be like different now? Like, I feel like she's always kind of hovering just below the radar, but
yeah,
like high enough where you don't forget about her.
yeah,
She comes in at like very interesting times. The other thing that's interesting, do you know Octopus Lover
of
on TikTok?
course. Yeah,
He is the cousin
I
of
know.
Elliot Grange.
Elliot Grange. No, I think his best
Insane
friend is
connection.
Elliot's cousin,
Okay, his best
Allie.
friend is okay, but he's good friends with Sophia.
I know. And
And
Olivia Jade.
oh my
Yeah,
god,
they
this
went
is
to
like
USC together. He has a charmed life.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was about to call this a Bermuda Triangle, but what I mean is kind of more like a friendship triangle. Like that's so
yeah.
interesting.
I know. He's there, which is insane at the
I know.
wedding.
I know. He also got big so fast.
I know. I actually didn't realize, but I'd been following him for a while, since before his videos.
Really.
Yeah.
I hate octopuses. All cephalopods are like
Hmm.
on my curse list. I
Hmm.
hate them. And he reviews octopus and I hate even looking at the
Me too.
tentacles. But his like reactions, his John
Hmm.
Hancock, John, half the page. Half
Yeah.
the page. Like
My
whatever.
favorite, my favorite is when it's the Last Supper one, and he goes, "Okay, Jesus," and like because it sounds like he's saying like, "Oh, Jesus," but he's saying like, "Okay, comma, Jesus."
Yeah.
He is so funny. I always get like wary of people that blow up really fast, because I just feel like the like pendulum's gonna swing the other way. Like, what
I
is gonna be the
know.
thing?
It's like you have to brace yourself. It's like what's
brace
happening
brace
next.
for impact. I feel like
Yeah.
people are gonna be raising eyebrows. Why are you at Sophia Richie's wedding?
Yeah. And they were. They were like, how did he get an invite? And everyone's like, how is he such good friends with Sophia? And
Hmm.
I had to go through the comments to figure out how he's connected to the
Yeah.
family. But it does seem like he and Sophia are like homies. They did the
Yeah.
funniest TikTok together there. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Like he's
anyway,
friends with Olivia Jade. Like I watched. Did you watch his interview at Chicks in the Office?
no.
They had him on, so go listen to that. He like
Okay.
provides his like background and everything, and he has money. I think like he grew up in New York, and then like he went to USC, Southern California, but like his parents moved with him, kind of
Mm,
thing. So I don't
okay.
know, but some and just you can just kind of tell. Also, like USC is so expensive that I feel like anyone
I
that goes
know.
there has money.
I know. No, for sure. Or they were on the rowing team.
Oh yeah, he could have.
I,
We never know. Like he could have rode, but yeah, he's friends with like Olivia Jade, and he's And I'm obsessed with his friendship with Alex Earl. Like that
I
comment
know.
where it's like when the popular girl and the class clown become friends. So true.
Yeah, I know. And when they did, his one dance where it's like,
Yeah.
I can't even do it. It's like that one, and
Hmm.
like that at the end. When they did that together in her like hotel room bathroom, I
Iconic.
was like, this is the collab of the year. This is
Yeah.
reminiscent of That's So Sweet Life as Zach and Cody.
Hmm.
Wait, did I say that right?
No, that's so
No,
sweet life of Hannah
Sweet Life of
Montana.
Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was to me. Like, this is the
Yeah.
collab that I was like, I was
Iconic.
not prepared for. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, I get very like protective over my influencers and over my TikTokers just because like they're just humans and they're people and like a lot of
Hmm.
times they're so young. Like they are
Hmm.
all really young and like
Yeah.
they're like just as influenced as we are. Like if they go out with people and other people are like partaking in bad behavior, like so are they. So I always like give them the benefit of the doubt. I
Yeah.
do get really aggravated about like lying
Yeah.
about surgeries or lying about I don't know, like other things like money or like hiding things or acting like they didn't ignoring like privilege that they had. I feel like
Hmm.
I'm not the kind of person that's like you need to like provide a disclaimer that your parents were rich. Like but it's
Yeah.
nice when people are able to just gently say, by the way, like I was grew up like in a way that my parents supported me. Or just something like that. I feel like is good and not people like
Yeah.
cosplaying as poor. Like I feel like Axel Weber got kind of
Oh,
canceled for that.
yes. That's the cringiest thing ever. Like, it's
Yeah.
one thing to kind of like not talk about your upbringing if you were
Yeah.
super privileged, but to cosplay poor, that's
Hmm.
on a whole other level. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't relate, and I hate that you thought that was cute.
Yeah. Because being rich also does not bother me. I love watching rich people do rich things.
I know.
That's
And
why I
it's
love
like you're
like
kind of
Alex
happy
Earl,
for them.
Sophia Richie. Like I
Yeah.
would rather watch rich people do rich things than like someone like vlogging their day in like Minner, Ohio. No offense to Cassie, but like
What a roast.
I mean,
But no, I know what
I
you
would.
mean. It is, but it's also interesting how I feel like rich people, they have to feel like they have permission to vlog like their like rich life. It's like they have to have earned it in some way. Like if
Yeah.
you were just born rich, people take more issue with like whose money are you spending, yours or your dad's?
Hmm.
Versus like if you just like got big on Instagram and you had money, then you bought yourself. Oh my God! Speak of the devil, Cassie texted me as soon as she texted me.
Wow. I
Weird.
said Minner and I summoned her.
You summoned her.
She, that
Um,
literally, she would do that though.
she would. She
Yeah.
would if she was dead in the grave and someone said Menor, Ohio, it's actually pronounced Mentor. She
Oh my
would
gosh.
rise from the dead to
Yeah.
correct you. Actually, it's Menor.
Yeah. Actually, it's Minner. Oh my God. Okay. So, any final thoughts on influencers? Is there anything else you want to get off your chest? Is there anyone we didn't cover?
I think Sofia Richie is the Super Bowl of my year. Her
Yeah.
wedding is my Super Bowl
Yeah.
now. Sorry, Coachella, this is it for me. I think my biggest takeaway with like influencers is it's really good to be kind and to give them benefit of the doubt
Hmm.
and to just be patient with them. Like they have to broadcast their whole life. Like let them chill. If they wanted to
Yeah.
take a couple of days off, chill. Um, yeah, and I think just being having like your mentality be that they're inherently good people is the way to approach influencers and not like, oh, they were the mean girl in my class. They're
Yeah.
nice people. They're
Unless
good
you,
people.
I feel like it's easy to like I agree with all that too. But if I were out somewhere in New York and I was like waiting, like for a table at a restaurant and the gaggle of New York City influencers walked in and like went up to the host and was like, "Do you know how many followers I have?" and got seated before me, then I'd be pissed. So
Yeah.
like I can say all these things because I've never had like legitimate experiences with them. Like I've never met any of them. Like, but if any of them like were rude or like really bitchy to me, it would just kind of depend on the situation because I can
Yeah.
give the benefit of the doubt. Like I'm no saint, but like if you're out here like flexing your followers or just like being generally rude, then I can see that. But it's like the
Yeah.
people that like you've never met them, you don't know, and like now you're calling their face fat,
Yeah.
that is like where it's problematic to me.
Oh
And
yeah.
then also to all these people like that seem to really hate influencers, but they stay on this subreddit, I'm also like, well, why do you follow them?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do you
Yeah.
hate listen to their podcast? Like, that's what they
Mm-hmm.
call it. They're like, oh, well, I was hate listening to the toast. And I'm like,
Yeah. It's
I would not
embarrassing.
want to waste my time listening to a podcast that I hate just
Yeah.
to make yourself mad, just to make your blood boil after you've already had probably a stressful day.
Yeah.
It's
And
weird.
guess what? The influencer is still profiting off that listen.
Literally.
Like your actions to try to bring them down are kind of just backfiring on you. So,
Yeah.
congrats.
So I don't know. And I can also, influencers also, they do questionable shit and like they are really out of touch sometimes. And like their like mental health struggles, I get like, oh, when they're like, oh, I need to take a break from like creating content. I can see why people are like, oh, you need to take a break from posting Instagram stories of your coffee while I'm like a nurse who just extracted a 97-pound tumor, like something like that. I guess I get that,
Yeah.
but as someone who has been viral before in like a bad situation, like when I got a bunch of like hate online and got like really objectified, like it was so stressful and so draining and it literally made me want to like crawl into a hole because I just felt like this disgusting, awful, dumb, mean person because that's what like
Oh
people
my
are
God.
telling me about like my
Was that your
TikTok.
Jimmy B. Jones tweet?
No, when I made the one in Chicago, remember? Like I made an episode about that and how like everyone was commenting on like my boobs
Your co
basically.
Oh yeah, your boobs.
Yeah, and everyone
Yeah.
and people were like calling
That
me
was
like dumb and like that
that
I
was
was
taxing.
it was so draining. And then I
Yeah.
was like, damn, like this is really stressful. Like if every time I posted content I would have to receive a bunch of mean things about me, like I could not handle that. So
Yeah.
I do think it's draining.
No, I know you mean. I'm not an influencer. Well, I do personal finance stuff, which honestly doesn't get that much hate. Except
Yeah.
for if you like do a calculation wrong or something like that, and then people are like, well, actually, that's an average of averages. That's not the true average. Like, all
Yeah.
right, sit down, it's fine. But yeah, I haven't gotten hate before. I did get a 3-star review on my podcast, but ironically, it was like such a compliment that someone took the time to write a bad review. I was like
Yes.
honored.
Yeah. That's such a good mentality. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining. This was so much fun.
I know.
And we
I
got
had
to
a
do
lot of
this again
fun.
soon. I don't think I could ever go
Yes.
on Gals Getting Rich just because I don't really have any advice to give.
Oh, you could. You could,
Okay,
for
we'll
sure.
figure it out. Well, you can find Maeve on Instagram or Gals Getting Rich, available on
Hmm.
Spotify and Apple for all your finance needs. It's
Yes.
evergreen content. So, like, you can just go back and listen to any of them and they will apply to your life.
Yes. Yes. Go follow me on Insta or find my podcast. And our season 3 starts up in May. So
Oh,
not posting
okay.
right now, but
Okay,
we'll be
so we're
back.
in Gals Getting Rich in between seasons. Perfect time to
Yeah.
catch up, binge everything with Maeve and her amazing co-host Vatsa. And yeah, so thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me, Lily.
Bye.